What if I were to tell you there's a 3D printed construction company that you've never heard of that not only developed their entire system from scratch, from the printer, their material, even their mixing system, they also have a permanent home that somebody's living in right now, another one under construction, and a couple more on the way. In addition to the very first 3D printed construction company headquarters that's never been done before, and a 40-foot tall tower that's been printed in their warehouse behind me. Well, as you might have noticed already, I'm here today at KKrane in Virginia, and everything I just told you is true about them. They've done an incredible job developing custom solutions specifically meant for the 3D printed concrete application. And you'll meet their founder in a minute. He took a lot of knowledge that he gained from the dredging industry with gold and applied that to his mixing system over here that I'm super excited to tell you about. You're going to love it. So make sure to stay tuned for this while we check out what's happening at their headquarters, their new 3D printed headquarters building, and then a few of their projects that they've completed along the way in Virginia.
Hi, I'm Zach Baldridge. I'm the owner of KKrane, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we do here.
How did you get started with this?
So, I've been a general contractor for 22 years building residential homes. Saw the process and all of the challenges through that over the years, different parts where we could improving, trying to get rid of delays, and also add some creativity that's not easily done in conventional construction. I started back in early 2017.
You guys have a really unique setup here. I mean, you developed the printer yourself, the mixing system. Your start stop is incredible. All these little pieces, they're not leaving residue, it's not dripping afterwards. And also, I noticed you guys are printing for a full 8-hour day with a full print bed.
Yeah.
What was the process like getting to this refined stage?
So where we're at now is very different than when we started. I've designed my own robot here, our own mix, our own pumping system.
What year was that?
Started in late 2017. This robot we built in 18. Pumping system we started developing more in 21, 22. And then the mix was in that same period. So it's come a long way. I mean, it's much easier than it used to be. We'd have several people here working on this to support it and have problems. But we've gotten to a good space, where we know what our mix is going to do. The robot's, pretty consistent at it. And so we're just refining things a little more.
What are you printing right now?
So we're printing for a new house we started, residential home. We are printing quite a few panels, probably 14,000 pounds today. We're also printing the footings on some of these panels as well. That's what we call them. We call them panels. So the footings are right here. You can see it's thickened, solid. And then our print height is 39 3/4 right now. So it's almost 3.5 feet.
And then how will you assemble these on site?
So we'll take these to the job site, transport them on over there. Bunch of different methods we use to stack them. Whether we stack them, they have grouted chambers where they'll be filled solid with reinforcement rod. Here, the rest of this will be, like a foam insulation that we'll add later to give you your R value.
Cool. And the hose management system?
That was just creative trial and error for a while, figuring out what the robot needed as far as range and then the supports and keeping it simple. That this robot it just keeps things a lot simpler, easier to maintain.
Really nice that you don't need a person managing the hose for the whole print.
Right. Yeah. We try to do a lot with as little people as possible.
Can we take a look at the mixing setup?
Yeah, sure.
Let's start at the silo.
Yeah. So right here is where we actually make our own mix. As I said, we process. We bring our sand in. We have to process that sand because it's got a lot of impurities in it. So we screen all that sand out, predetermined weights. So we have our batches, and then they get set up for a print. So we know we're printing. We set up for that print with a number of batches ready to go.
So you load it in the top of the silo, and then
So then come down in here, comes down this tube here, and then screens it out. This is all the waste material. This is stuff we don't want going to our pump. So we reuse this later on for grouting. How did you come up with this idea? Gold mine. It's just like a gold prompt. So got the bacteria in that. That's pay dirt right there. Yeah, definitely. And so it ends up being clean. Over here is our clean material. And this is all clean and weighed out, so we know what's in this bucket. And then where do you put the bucket? Bucket ends up going into the mixer. The mixer is, we add our water, add mixtures, and cement, and then we stir it up. And then we tip it on inside the pump. Right here at the pump, we worked on this design for a while. Works pretty well. We send it up and it goes back into where the robot is. We used to build these up one by one. Took a lot of time. Now we've turned it into a simple automated process. We can literally walk away from it and it fills it up. And it's a recirculating system, so we don't have to be here. If it overfills, it's not a big deal. So this is one of our residential wall panels. This is a 6-inch wall panel. We did it over a year ago. We've been leaving this here as a test. So what you're seeing here, we injected our foam insulation in here. We're seeing what the elements would do to it. We don't normally leave it exposed, but we have it exposed here. Just trying different tests, and if we get where it's been protected, you can see what the sun's done to it. But we also just wanted to see, as it's expanding, how full is it? Is it filling the cavities? If there's any surprises down the road. We have our locking cores here that lock the panels together. They're filled solidly with grout. But yeah, this is our 6-inch wall panel.
Just one example of a ton of testing you guys are doing
We've
here.
done a lot of testing over time, and we like to look at it over time and see what happens.
And what's this thing over there?
Okay, so this is our factory building that we're putting together.
The world's first printed headquarters.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. We'll have 2, possibly 3 robots in here, where we'll be able to automate, this even farther, scale up things more. It'll have an office in here as well. As you noticed before, we keep everything in control conditions. Where we're printing, it's snowing outside, we're printing. Raining doesn't matter. So over here on this wall, we played with some, I got a big background in design and aesthetics. So we're just painting the building right now, but we tried some different textures here. I'll show you something around front, but each one of these panels is about 1,000 pounds each. They're 2 feet tall. It's been here almost 2 years.
Were you saying earlier you're an art major?
I'm an art major.
I
Yep.
would have guessed engineering with you have all kinds of engineering documents in your office. You designed a lot of stuff from scratch.
Definitely. It's been fun. It's creative in all the different ways. We don't just have a robot. We have the whole process done, and understand what it needs on the job to do that.
We'll deep dive into all that stuff on the podcast. Link in the description.
Okay.
While we're here, can you explain that footer?
So we printed our footings here. This area we dug underneath to do a drain. We're still under construction here. So the footer's solid. It's sitting on a gravel base. And then the footer is actually locked to all the rest of the panels with a grouted chamber rebar.
Very cool. And you guys were the GC on this project?
Yes.
Do everything yourself?
Yes, do everything myself. In fact, I did the metal roof myself on this on some of my days off. I enjoy just getting up and doing the roof. I enjoy bees and hexagons and patterns, and this is the aesthetic. So I wanted to play with just, what could I do with the 3D printing to bring some different aspects to design with it. We can certainly do curves, and we're doing some tapers and things like this, but this was a different process altogether.
More bee content coming with you guys at the end of the video, so stay tuned. How many panels is this building made up of?
So it's about 180 panels. These walls are 14 feet tall and they're 12 inches thick. The square footage is somewhere around, I think, 2,600 square feet inside. And then everything will be inside there. All our printing parts will be inside, climate controlled. It helps us with the curing, and then just being able to work year round. In Virginia, we have a nice warm season for a while, but once we hit October, the temperatures get too low to be doing a whole lot outside with concrete, in a printing fashion.
Well, congratulations on being the first 3D printed construction company who printed their own headquarters.
Yeah, thank you.
So what does KKrane need most right now to grow and expand?
So as I mentioned, this is our factory building. We're trying to put we're working on putting the two new robots in here that'll scale us up. In growing, we're going to need some capital. So we're looking for investment out there to grow this faster. I really believe that once this facility is running, we're going to be able to be more efficient and start achieving some of the goals of bringing costs down on residential and even commercial construction.
What kind of routes are you exploring for fundraising? Is it venture capital, family and friends, crowdfunding?
We're looking at several. I mean, we're not stuck in one area. We definitely open to any funding in that area. We like crowdfunding is one thing we're definitely looking at right now pretty heavily, but we're open to other avenues as well.
Since recording this video, KKrane has announced they'll actually start their crowdfunding raise. If you're interested in checking it out, you can see the link in the description for yourself. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice.
We're in the factory building here. It's under construction, as I said. We're just finished the slab about a month ago. Started to do some painting. We're getting ready to run the electrical work. All electrical. Most of it will run in the ceiling system, and then it'll go down into the walls. We've got some receptacles here that we've already cut in. Um, and then this is our plumbing. We'll have a bathroom here with an office. The office is in this corner. Um, Above the office will be some storage in our mezzanine, which will give us access to the upper parts of the robot. Um, the ceiling height in here is 14 feet, but we do have a higher section here that gives us a little more room for the Z axis on the robot, giving us a higher print height. So we'll be able to do approximately 6.5 feet of height. Right here on the ground, you can see an orange ribbon. This area is where one of the robots will be placed. Again, we build that robot, and there'll be two, maybe it might be two more in here besides this one. Then out this way here, this will be our big garage door. We'll exit, pull all the panels out. This is the edge of our door jamb. We got to put our frame on here soon. You can see it's hollow. We'll add insulation in here once the electrical work's done.
Did you cut these outlets during the print, after the print?
So we cut these after the print, and then these other holes you see here are access points for foam insulation. So we'll be injecting the foam, but again, that's not done until after the electrical work is complete. So this should have an amazing R value, being that it's somewhere in the range of 8 inches of open cell foam insulation, and certainly solid. I mean, this thing is built like a fortress.
You mentioned you don't plan on staggering them again in the future.
Right. So staggering, these are staggered like a brick pattern. We changed our plan with that. Not that this has been a problem, but we like the vertical lines and the seams that it creates. But this was our first structure that we built, and so we had a lot of learning going on with this structure, with this building.
Very cool. Well, it's good that you guys are learning on your own project and not the customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the pieces you see here are going to the tower. We haven't taken them out there yet. These here are just the straight wall sections, but we have some sculpted pieces here. They're really three-dimensional. Um, the tower is a really fun project, and we got creative with it. These are almost like these are components that will all go together. These are going to be like a flying buttress almost, and they'll be solidly filled and reinforced. Also, I have a little model I'll share with you, and it'll show you what the tower looked like. We 3D printed it, and it'll give you a good idea of what the final product's going to look like. This is the tower we'll be showing you. These are some of the buttresses that was showing you outside there, the decorative details. But it's pretty tall, and it is tapered. You'll see it's a 2.5-degree taper, so they're not vertical walls. And then it has stairs on the inside all the way up.
Tomorrow we'll go check that out in person.
So right up here, you can see a drawing, one of the drawings that I used when I designed the sand screen machine. So I designed it in the CAD, pull the drawings together, break it into components, and then we fabricated that here.
They didn't teach you that in art school.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
You guys do some really serious engineering in here.
I enjoy being creative, and so that leads me down the path, and it's a good balance, I think, for me.
While Zach and I explored the KKrane campus, I left my phone to make this time lapse of pretty much the entire print. My battery wasn't good enough to record the whole 8-hour day, but I got enough sections that you'll get the idea. Here you can see the solid portions are the footings that are printed, and then the ground is dug out and the entire building is laid on top of those footings. Now the print operator installs additional reinforcements using a $5 claw from Harbor Freight. And then a little bit later, he installs these pipes, which will be removed but serve as a way to make a convenient pass through the wall. Here are some more horizontal reinforcements being placed by hand. Long term, Zach explained that they would like to have this automated with either robotic arm, humanoid robots. This is something they'll be exploring in their new print facility that we saw earlier. Now the print resumes, and there are only a few layers done. I believe this was a 53-layer print, and they were able to really optimize the space on the print bed. It's not often I visit a company and they're printing for an entire 8-hour workday, so this was quite an impressive feat.
Now finishing up here, almost to the end of this print. Probably been a good around 8 hours or so, and probably have 14,000 pounds on this job or this print that we've done today.
I think this is the first visit I've done where there's been actually full 8 hours of printing the entire time. So yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. It's exciting. It looks, clean, nice, and yeah, we're almost done. Just a couple more moves, and she's all done.
Now that it's done printing, how long until you move these on site?
So if we needed to, we can move them tomorrow. That's not a big deal. Tonight they'll cure out a little more, and we'll, because we're printing inside, we'll be able to control that.
That's it. Congratulations.
Yep, that's it.
Well done, guys.
All right, thank you.
Little did I know that was not the end. They also have subtractive manufacturing. By installing this circular saw on the end of their print head and repeating the last layer, they're able to cut off a little portion, making it as flat as possible on the top. This helps assemble the pieces later on. Now, let's check out some of the projects underway and completed by KKrane.
We're up here in Schuyler, Virginia, and I'm going to share with you a house that we finished our part in the spring. We're not the general contractor on this job, but they came to us and they liked what we're doing. And so I'm going to show you around here. We've got the main level we did, as you can see, but this has a second story as well that was a little bit different for us, but no problem. We're going to go inside here, but you can see some of the details. We got the radius corners here. We got a deck above us here, and there's going to be a spiral staircase in this area.
Printed footers.
Yep, we did the printed footers here again.
Is that black paint special waterproofing?
Yeah, that's the waterproofing for this. Now, this does have a basement level. We'll show you that in just a little bit. In here is the living room and kitchen. high ceilings. You can see we have 2 stories up this way. There'll be a room above the foyer area, and then the kitchen's over in this area. When we come through this way, we can go into the master bedroom. Again, we have a floor above us, which we have 2 stories of our printed walls there. Out back, nice set of doors going out here. We'll show you this in just a bit. The basement area going down. Got the bathroom in here.
Massive bathroom.
Yep, big bathroom, a closet area. And then we come back over into this area here. This is kind of an office area for them. But not sure how they're going to finish these walls out, if they're just going to paint them or they want to leave them the natural gray. Back to the foyer. I think this is another bathroom here, right?
How many panels is this?
So this was about 128, something like that. We'll come back around this side here. So again, we've got lots of glass in this house here, and we made all the panels custom for it. And we'll come around to the back where we have the basement level. You got your HVAC popping through here. You can see that they have insulated this house already. This is their injection points, so they'll fill these in later. You got your hose bib for your garden hose, and then this is your HVAC coming out.
And then you have columns poured in. How often?
Every 4 feet. Yep.
And no concrete bond beam on this building.
No concrete bond beam. They all have vertical columns with grout and rebar.
Big solar panels on that wall. You mentioned they were considering off-grid.
Yeah, they were considering off-grid, but I think they changed, and they'll have the option of either or. So here's this is a little unusual for us because we did the basement walls and we also printed the steps. So let me take you down here. So you can see the steps are printed. That was a fun print. And then we printed all these walls, and then they're solid filled with
This is the very first printed basement I've ever seen in my life.
Yep. So they're solid. They're 14-inch thick walls with 8 foot of backfill against them. And this is mechanical down here. This is not for anything finished. It could be, but for this particular house, this is what they wanted.
Would make a great tornado bunker or something.
Absolutely, yeah. Super strong.
Now let's check out a completed unit and meet the resident.
Hey, I'm Joseph. We purchased the home in April 2025. It's currently October. So I've got a few months of living here, and we couldn't be happier. Our utility bill is lower than my wife and I have ever paid for our own utility bills in a 1-bedroom apartment. This is a 3-bedroom house. So that's been wonderful. Another aspect that we really love is the R value. The heat last night, I think it got down into the 40s. I think we heard before we went to bed the heat cut on one time, so it retains its ambient temperature very well. So we've loved that. One of my wife's favorite parts of the home is our kitchen. She mentioned to me the other night, we were sitting on the patio, that when we've had people over, they've just kind of naturally congregated around the island in the kitchen, unintentionally, of course. But we love the kitchen, and of course she loves to whip up delicious meals for us in there.
Have you put many hung up pictures or drilled anything into the wall?
We have hung up a few pictures, yes, and hanging things is honestly easier than a traditional stick-built home, because a lot of times, especially if it's something heavy, you're looking for a stud. Here, the whole house is a stud, and so there's no special hanging material required or fasteners. It's very, very similar, and like I said, a lot of ways easier than hanging in a home that's finished with drywall.
What do friends and family say when they visit?
They're astonished. They all of them like to walk up and touch it because it is very tactile. It's it's art. That's the way we think about it. This home is art, and they love it. They have a lot of questions about it, and we love entertaining here.
Do you have any message for people who might be considering moving into a 3D printed home?
The message I would have them consider is don't wait, don't delay. Home prices are going to go up, materials are going to go up. You could be sitting a year from now, uh, wishing that you had purchased and moved into a 3D concrete printed home last year. So act now. It's amazing.
Cool, man. Thank you for showing us around.
Of course, you're welcome.
We're out here at the tower. Give you guys a tour. Right now, we lifted up 2 more courses today, so we're at 10 courses right now. See, it's pretty massive, and it's been just an awesome project to work on. We've been excited about it. Once we learned we were going to move forward with it, it's been exciting.
How do you lift these up?
So we lift them up with these holes that you see here. We have a crane that comes out. We put pins through here, and we have a crane that helps them stack them on top. This is our man lift. This is lifting us up there so my guys can help position the panels in the right location while the crane is holding them up. So this, again, I mentioned earlier, there's a taper to this. So this is going up at 2.5 degrees. So you can tell it's not plumb, and it's 2.5 degrees both directions.
Heavier on the bottom, less weight sport on the top.
Right. It also is a nice design feature.
What are these rebars sticking out?
So we have some decorative pieces that go on here.
Cool.
That come out, and they support a roof structure. So it'd be a traditional, be like a metal roof above us here. And these come out and they curve out nicely there. And then inside here, we'll have some steps coming in. There's like a landing you can see here. And then you have a central core here going all the way up.
I wish we could climb up. The view must be amazing.
And so back here we have all where we've been storing all the panels as we brought them out to the job. They're disappearing quickly, but these are the few that still remain, and we'll be using them up here with the crane soon. But after we get all done, I think another couple lifts will be done. We now have the top piece on here that's still under construction. So we'll be covering this and completely finishing this off, and then we'll lift all this with a crane and place it on top.
For a total height of...
in the low 50s.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you prefer learning from an organized curriculum, check out my course at the link in the description. Now, let's move on to the bees.
So I'll crack it open and smoke them a little bit first so that they stay fairly calm. Sometimes they get stung. I'll wear a veil sometimes if I really need to dig into them. I don't like, if you wear gloves and stuff, it just causes more issue. You're going to get stung if you have bees. But I get calm if they're calm.
How do you replace the hives when you lose them in the winter?
You can buy new ones, or I can take that. If those two survive, I can turn one good hive in spring. Once it gets going in April, I can literally turn it into 8 if I wanted to.
Oh, cool.
Break it into 8. And then in 6 more weeks, I can take those 8 and turn them into 6 to 8 more. So you can do some crazy scaling. So they got a lot of beetles in here, and the beetles are bad. That's one of the problems we have in this hairy, look at all these beetle. So I usually just squish them all. The bees corral them. The beetles don't hurt the bees, but they make a mess in the hive, and you can lose a hive because beetles take over. They gook up the honey. They gook up and so they corral them in the corner. These bees are just pushing the beetles right to the corner. So it's kind of like whack-a-mole. And you squish them. They lay their eggs. The beetles lay their eggs in the pollen inside, and then the larva hatches, squirms out the front, burrows into the sand or dirt, and then comes back out, changes phase into a beetle, comes back in the hive, and starts all over. I'm not beating them right now. I probably may need to. So this is not the strong hive. Last time I checked. Let's see, they're pretty calm. You might get one that starts getting antsy. You can't move but so fast. That's the other thing. So you gotta move, like slow movement. And they'll give you a warning. They'll kind of bump you a lot of times.
They die if they sting you, right? So they don't.
Yeah, honeybees die, yeah. I'm not sure that they know that, but the drones are the big ones. They don't have stingers. I'll maybe be able to show you a drone. So that's all capped honey. Look at all the beetles, though. It's terrible. She's not going to be on the honey frames usually, the queen. This one. No. Yeah, she's still here. So this is all capped brood. This is, they're changing phase from the larva to the bee.
So you know the queen's there because there's eggs.
Yes. You can get a situation where there's called a working laying worker when the queen is gone, and several of the worker bees decide they want to lay eggs, and they can somehow, but they're unfertilized. And what that in the telltale sign is that so an unfertilized egg ends up being a male bee, a drone, and so sometimes you'll see double eggs or double larva in one thing. You have other signs a little bit, but you'll notice that the pattern is poor, double layer, bulging, like there's two larvas in one cell. That means it's a laying worker, and that hive's kind of hopeless.
Can the male drone? I guess the male drone can't fertilize the eggs.
No, she's born, the queen. I'll go over that in a minute, but she's born. She flies out when it's a decent day, within probably a few weeks of being born, and she will mate with several drones in the air outside the hive, and that'll be all she needs for the rest of her life. And some are better, cold hardy, some are. But this is all stuff they, created. This is called, also some of this is called propolis, which is a more refined wax. They use it in makeup a lot.
Royal jelly.
Royal jelly is what they feed the queen to change her, to make a regular larva turn into a queen. What happens is if there's a queen, say the queen got squished right now, and she had a few larvae within a couple days of just being hatched, they would actually they'd say, oh my gosh, queen's dead. They'll know. Then they'll turn one of the cells or several of the cells that are very young, like I say young, I mean like a couple days of being laid, and they'll feed it that royal jelly, turn the cell slightly down. It looks like a peanut, kind of like the end of my finger.
Sure.
And it'll hang down at an angle or vertical. A lot of times it's vertical. And you'll say, oh, there's a queen. And they'll leave it open for 12 days, I think. And they'll feed her, and then they'll close it up. She'll finish forming. I think at day 16, she hatches. When she hatches, she's longer. I've cracked one out before that had just hatched. I had to help her hatch, actually. And then she'll crawl down in there. It's really hard to find. Yeah, I mean, this is like propolis. It's really gummy. It's a gummy wax. They fill this up. They don't want the ventilation. So they didn't like the holes. They'll fill it up.
Wasn't that fascinating? I had never learned about the bees before, and it's certainly incredible seeing a company we've never featured on the channel before that's completed so much incredible work. Both permanent homes, giant towers, new records, brand new basements, and a bunch more. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see what KKrane is up to next. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow KKrane on all their socials too.